Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah Pearce, Director of the Morgantown Public Library System, and this is the mystery installment of Fiction 101, where we're going to talk a little bit about what is the mystery genre, what's hot in the world of mysteries, and what we are reading or has been really popular in the library. And today I'm joined by Shelby, our evening supervisor and readers advisory extraordinaire, and Ellen, a head of cataloging, assistant director, and basically in charge of all things that happen down in the basement of the library. So we'll get started. Shelby, what are our patrons looking for in the world of mystery right now?
I'm seeing a lot more of the creepier side of things, serial killers and more suspenseful, like thriller mysteries, more than anything else. Two titles I've seen go out quite a bit are The Guest List by Lucy Folley and The Sanatorium by Sarah Pearce, and they're both on that side of things.
They are both way past my creepy comfort level because I am still firmly in the world of like, I'm afraid to put my feet on the floor at night. But yeah, I guess making up for, not being able to go on tours of the local lunatic asylum and those types of things in our lockdowns. We've been seeing some more creepy things for sure.
Which I guess the sanatorium's a remodeled insane asylum, was remodeled into a hotel, and that just sounds
no,
sounds
thank
like
you.
someone's gonna go missing.
I have it on my list to read.
Anything upcoming that in the creepy world that we're looking forward to?
When the Stars Go Dark by Paula McLain comes out next month. And it's by an author who had a previous bestseller, and it's creepy child kidnapping murder, so that's fun.
Yeah. No, I used to be okay. So we didn't talk about what a mystery is actually. So the mystery genre is like all genres, is really big and broad, right? But generally speaking, the reader is kind of turned into the detective. Like you experience the crime, the discovery process, and the solution right along with the main character. And then the setting or the characters are all where we vary into all of these different worlds of mystery, historical fiction type ones, cops, lawyers, doctors, everybody gets to be a detective at some point, right? Or creepy person in the woods type ones. I used to be a big fan of like the cop and doctor ones, Private Eye ones, Walter Mosley and Tess Gerritsen and Patricia Cornwell and all those. But one of the big things for quite a few years now is the world of cozy mysteries, right, Ellen? This is your preferred mystery
I love
world.
Cozies. They're so comforting.
They are, but they share a lot of the same sort of like formulaic things that we discussed in our Fiction 101 romance about why we enjoy them, because they're somewhat predictable. But the focus is on sort of the characters, and instead of, and that there's resolution at the end of all of them, right?
Yes. Yes, that does help.
So I found a great definition of a cozy that I really loved. So I'm going to share it if we're not sure. It's a puzzling whodunit that generally features a hook, something like a crafting store, restaurant, bed and breakfast, winery. They tend to be lighthearted in tone, with little to no violence and any hot and heavy romance happening off screen. Protagonists can be anyone, although they're usually, for whatever reason, underestimated, which I thought was a good description of cozies. So, Ellen, I know you have pages and pages of lists of favorite cozies, but if someone wanted to get started with a comforting yet still intriguing mystery, where's a good place to start?
I like my cozies to have a little bit of romance and a little bit of humor in them.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite authors is Jen McKinley, and she actually writes romance novels too, which I've read, and they're very good. The one that I really, really like is the Cupcake Bakery Mysteries, because, you know, it's cupcakes.
Yeah.
And the characters are just so much fun, and you really start getting involved with them. And there's a new one coming out that I'm really looking forward to. I think the main character is getting married after, I think it's book 13. So it's been a little slow going,
That's a
but I'm
slow
really
burn for
looking
sure.
forward to it and seeing what manages to go wrong.
Oh no, there is a lot of going wrong in the cozy world, isn't there?
That's usually a lot of it. Something just always goes wrong.
Yeah,
So
which
yeah, that's really fun.
we're all living that life right now, right?
Yeah,
So
sort of we are. That's a really nice, lighthearted, sort of fun start to the cozy world. But on the cozymystery.com site, you can actually decide what you want to read about. They have it listed by genre, by like crafts or types of occupations, everything like that. It's so much fun. So when I want to read one on knitting, I can just type in knitting and it gives me all the knitting cozies.
that's a great
Yeah.
That's a great site. Novelist has some great lists too when it comes to different mystery genres. I was checking out the other day. They have and they have one particularly just about humorous mysteries, which I appreciate. So
Yes.
I like funny books. Or definitely humorous writing is, I don't know that I would say I like funny books, but I tend to like books that are funny. I don't look for them that way on purpose, but that's what I end up liking. I'm one of those difficult patrons for Shelby with Reader's Advisory, because I would say, no, I don't like funny books, but that's actually what I do.
It's what you end up going for.
um, what else do we have going on? I mean, mysteries, like everything else, are kind of experiencing a bit of a renaissance as well, as far as featuring diverse voices. There's a new series, relatively new, that takes place in India at like the time of the Indian Revolution, which I've checked out twice, but is just so far out of my comfort zone right now. I haven't been able to. Oh, I've started it and put it down and fallen asleep, but it looks amazing. And I think the third one is coming out later this year. So 3 always seems to be my magic number. When there's 3 of something, I'm like, oh, I should read that. And then I can read all 3 and then be really mad that there's nothing else to read in the series. And I have to wait a year for the next one. But there's definitely a lot more voices being represented. I also found one when I was reading about cozies that was a noodle shop one based that can't decide if it'll be torture to read because of the food descriptions or really good.
I think I'm going to try it at some point because I thought it seemed intriguing. There's there's a lot of library cozies.
There are.
Librarians, which I think is really cool. But there's one, it's actually is a man, which most cozies are women.
Yes.
But it's a man and he's a librarian and he has a Maine Coon cat. And it goes with him everywhere. And people are always like, what a huge cat. It's like 30 pounds or something like that. And his name is Diesel. And that's also a fun sort of story. Has a lot of diverse characters in it, which is nice. You don't see that very often. And I really like that series too. I forget who does that one. How odd.
we'll include all the titles and authors that we mention in the post that goes along with the video. So I was super excited to find out that so one of the books that I read this past year, that's probably one of the best, again, 3 books, and then I decided to read it, the Truly Devious series, which is a YA mystery by Maureen Johnson. There is a new one, same characters, but new location coming out
Really?
in June. Yes, The Box in the Woods.
Ooh, I can't
Which
wait.
sounds like it might be too scary for me, but they were really some of the best mysteries that I've read in a long time. Like, there was sort of this, it's an old mystery that they're like a cold case kind of a thing. And so the story goes back and forth through different timelines. And I don't know, it was very like Lindbergh kidnapping reminiscent to me, which where I grew up in New Jersey was a big thing. And we learned about that in school a lot. And so I really liked that aspect of it. But yeah, so she's back, the main, to do her first detecting outside of the boarding school setting in The Box in the Woods in June. One of my other favorite mystery writers is Harlan Coben. And again, with the YA being one of my favorites, he's written for adults and kids, but his YA book, Shelter, and the ones that go with that are one of my favorite. But he also has a brand new series starting, or I assume it's a series, where they've taken Win from the Bolitar series and given him his own book. And so I'm really interested to see, because Win is he's always been a side character, but he's like shrouded in mystery himself. So this should be interesting to see it from his perspective. I'm not sure when that comes out. Sometime this summer, I think. No, it's coming out soon, in March. So I'm looking forward to those. Maybe with a little more daylight, I can stay awake a little longer and not be so scared.
Yes.
Other favorites to check out if you want to get started on some fun mystery series, Sherry Thomas's The Lady Sherlock series, where it is a sort of a retelling of Sherlock Holmes, but the Sherlock is a woman, pretending to be Sherlock's sister, but really solving all the mysteries herself. And for a super fun twist on the historical mystery series is The Cop Sisters by Amy Stewart. And there's a great story from years ago about how she wrote the first one, where she actually based it off of a true stories out of the newspaper, but then embellished it and about this relationship between this woman who's like trying to get this guy arrested and the local deputy. I think they're 1910 or so. But those are really fun as well. And if you want to go truly old school, a little Agatha Christie movie is in the works. And Then There Was None will be coming out as a film again.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're good stories. You can remake them 100 times, right? Like, and it always works. But
I still like Hercule though. He's my favorite.
And there's a new kids version of those, right? Didn't you read those recently?
Yes, I just started those. Aggie Morton, I think, was the character, and it was Agatha Christie as a little girl, and they were so cute.
There's a lot of great kids detective books, and middle grades especially, those 4th through 7th grade, like Enola Holmes.
Yep.
Sherlock's younger sister, which was recently made into a Netflix movie that this will be one of the very few times I say this, but the movie was better than the book. The book was great, but the movie, I really hope Netflix turns the rest of them into movies because it was just so much fun. But the book was great too, and the audiobook was well done. I listened to, I think, the second one in the series. So
Yeah.
what else is that everything in the world of mysteries for now?
Well, probably for now, unless we want to go for a few hours. I
I
mean,
know.
we haven't even touched on those really dark Scandinavian ones and, all those
Oh,
fun things too.
oh my
But we were
goodness.
kind of,
That,
sticking with cozy types of things. So,
yeah, the Scandinavian ones, my goodness. I tried to read one of those about 6 months after my son was born, and I just did not feel smart enough to keep
Ooh,
those names straight. And and I haven't gone back to give them another try since then, which I probably should. But
they're very dark.
I lost miserably for that one.
They're just very dark.
But they're still popular. And like the main franchises, the Nesbo and the uh, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, those are still going strong.
Yeah, I think those are the ones I read. Although Kurt Wallander series by Henning Mankell, I think, those aren't bad. I think they've made TV shows out of them. I've not seen the TV shows yet. I'm going to one day because I actually like them.
Yeah. Um, okay, I think that if anybody has any parting mystery thoughts, or does that wrap us up for today?
I think I'm good.
Okay. As always, staff at all the locations are happy to talk books. We're always happy to give recommendations, suggestions, find you some good reads that are on the shelves while you wait for some of these new things to come out. Or if you want some in-depth help, please reach out to Shelby through our staff picks for you form. Tell her what you like, what you don't like, and she'll find some great things for you to get started in some new genres. So we're going to try something new this month. We've learned that we can create some book lists in our Beanstack app. So we're going to put this book list up from today in the Beanstack app. So head over there and check it out. And that from the app, you can keep track of the books you're reading, keep track of the minutes you read, helps you remember where you left off with series and things like that. And we'll be back next month with a graphic novels versus comics versus manga showdown. Or not really, because we love them all. But all right, thanks everybody. From everyone at Morgantown Public Library System, happy reading, and we'll see you soon.